The desert world of Karos was silent, except for laughter, not the soft kind, but cruel laughter that echoed across the endless sand. In the center of the arena, a single figure was buried in the ground. Only her head and shoulders were visible. Above the sand, her body was locked in place, unable to move. She did not scream. She did not beg. She simply breathed, slow and controlled, as the heat burned her skin. Above her, tall alien figures stood in a wide circle. Their armor shined under. The twin suns. Their eyes were filled with pride and mockery. "This," one of them announced, "is Earth's failed prototype." The crowd reacted at once. Laughter rose like a storm. Millions watched the broadcast across the galaxy. The aliens had turned this execution into a show. A message to every species watching. Earth was weak. Human creations were flawed. The female prototype looked forward, her face calm but tired. Sand pressed against her neck, heavy and unforgiving. The heat made it hard to think, but her mind stayed active. She remembered the word they used for her. Prototype. Not soldier, not weapon, not hero, just an experiment. That did not meet expectations. On Earth, many had doubted her. Some called her unstable. Others said she learned too much, felt too much. The aliens saw this as weakness. They captured her during a border conflict, not because she was dangerous, but because she was symbolic. Breaking her would break human pride. One alien stepped closer and crouched in front of her. "You were made to impress us," he said. "You failed." The crowd laughed again, louder this time. The prototype closed her eyes for a moment, not because she was afraid, but because she was calculating. Her systems were damaged. Her signal was blocked. Her energy levels were dropping fast. Escape was impossible. The sand began to tighten as hidden machines pulled it closer around her body. Slowly, painfully, the execution was meant to be slow, a lesson written in suffering. The prototype opened her eyes and looked at the sky. The suns were bright, almost blinding. She thought of Earth, of blue oceans and soft rain, of human voices arguing, laughing, hoping. She wondered if anyone was watching now, if anyone still cared. Across the galaxy, commentators spoke with excitement. "This proves it," one said. "Human technology lacks discipline." Another added, "They form emotional bonds with their machines. That is why they lose." The prototype listened to none of it. Her hearing filters reduced the noise. She focused inward. Her core directive was still active. Survive if possible, but logic was clear. This was the end. She slowly closed her eyes, accepting the final outcome. Then something changed. At first, it was barely noticeable. A faint sound beneath the noise of the crowd. A pattern, not alien. Her eyes snapped open. The sound grew clearer, breaking through static and interference. It was a voice. "Human, do you hear us?" The voice said calmly, "Stay alive." The prototype froze, her systems lighting up with sudden energy. The crowd did not notice. The aliens were still laughing, still proud, but buried in the sand. Earth's failed prototype was no longer alone. And for the first time, the galaxy laughed without knowing it was laughing too early. The human voice did not disappear. It stayed steady, calm, and clear inside her damaged systems. The prototype did not move ahead. She did not react on the outside. She had learned long ago that survival often depended on silence. "Signal was weak, but stable," the voice said. "We have you." Those words sent a quiet shock through her mind. Not excitement, not relief, but something deeper, recognition. She remembered her creation, years ago on Earth. She had not been welcomed with applause. Scientists stood behind glass walls, watching her take her first steps. Some smiled, others frowned. "She is too adaptive," one had said. "She changes faster than expected." Another replied, "That is the point. She was not built like other machines. Her design allowed learning from pain, fear, and failure. She could observe humans and understand them, not just their commands, but their emotions that frightened many people. They called her unstable, too human, too aware. So Earth labeled her a prototype, a test, something temporary. The aliens later used that word as a weapon, buried in the sand. Her processors replayed those memories while the crowd continued to laugh. The heat climbed higher. Her energy dropped lower. "Your systems are degrading," the voice warned. "We are working on it." She wanted to respond, but her transmitter was damaged. All she could do was listen. "Why?" she thought silently. "Why are they risking this for me?" The galaxy believed humans abandoned their failures. Even some humans believed that. The aliens around her were still confident. They discussed trade and power, already treating her death as history. One of them spoke loudly. "Let this remind Earth," he said. "Emotion creates weakness." The prototype felt the sand tighten again. Pressure wrapped around her chest. Her breathing slowed. Inside her core, a small emergency system activated. It was not a weapon, not a shield. It was a recorder. She began to store everything, the laughter, the heat, the cruelty. If she did not survive, Earth would still know. The human voice returned, firmer now. "We see the restraint system. They did not expect us to interfere." The prototype understood something then. This rescue was not planned. It was a decision, a risky one. Flashback images appeared again, a young engineer arguing with officials. "She learns," he said. "That means she can grow beyond her limits," another voice replied. "Or beyond our control." Control. That was what the galaxy valued. Humans valued something else, loyalty. The prototype felt a slight vibration beneath the sand, so small that no one else noticed. Her senses adjusted. The planet's magnetic field was shifting. The voice spoke once more, quieter but determined. "Hold on. We are closer than they think." Above her, the aliens laughed again. They believed time was on their side. They were wrong. Buried to her neck and surrounded by enemies, Earth's failed prototype did not feel fear anymore. She felt purpose. For the first time since her capture, she allowed herself to believe one simple truth. Humans did not forget their own. And somewhere beyond the burning sky, humanity was already answering. The desert arena was still loud with alien laughter. The crowd believed the moment was under their control. They believed Earth was watching in silence. They were wrong. Deep beneath the sand, the prototype felt the vibration grow stronger. It was not random. It had rhythm, purpose. Her senses struggled, but they adapted. She detected changes in gravity, small at first, then wider. Above the arena, the air began to shimmer. Alien commanders noticed it too late. Their instruments started to fail one by one. Screens flickered, signals dropped, communications filled with noise. "What is happening?" one alien shouted. No answer came. Across the galaxy, viewers leaned closer to their screens. This was not part of the execution. This was not planned. The prototype heard the human voice again, clearer now. "We have control of their outer systems. They underestimated us." She processed the words carefully. Humans were not attacking the arena. They were taking control of it. The sand around her loosened slightly, just enough for her to breathe easier, not enough to be noticed. Aliens began arguing among themselves. Accusations flew fast. Fear replaced laughter. A commander raised his weapon and scanned the sky. Nothing was visible, but something was there. Then the sky changed. Clouds that did not belong to the planet formed in perfect lines. Light bent in unnatural ways. The suns dimmed for a single moment. The entire arena went silent. A shadow moved across the sky, too large to be a ship, too controlled to be a storm. "This is impossible," an alien whispered. The human voice spoke again, not just to the prototype now, but through every open channel, every hacked system. "This is humanity," the voice said calmly. "We are present." No weapons fired, no explosions followed. That frightened the aliens, more than war ever could. The prototype felt her core stabilize, power rerouted from unknown sources. Human sources. Her restraints weakened further. The sand no longer crushed her body. It held her, but barely. Above her, the aliens panicked. Some demanded retreat, others demanded fire. But their weapons did nothing. Target locks failed. Energy cells drained instantly. The human voice returned to her private channel. "We are not here to destroy. We are here to retrieve." Retrieve. That word mattered. The galaxy had called her a failure, a disposable experiment. Humans called her theirs. The prototype lifted her head slightly, just enough for the cameras to catch it. Across the galaxy, viewers gasped. She was not broken. She was not defeated. She was still alive. The alien commander stepped back in disbelief. "This should not be possible," he said. The human reply came instantly. "You made one mistake. You assumed silence meant fear." The shadow in the sky sharpened. Its outline became clear. A human ship, massive, quiet, unarmed on the surface. It hovered above the arena like a promise. The prototype looked up, her vision blurring from heat and damage. For the first time since her capture, she saw a future beyond the sand. The galaxy watched in stunned silence. Humanity had not shouted, had not threatened, it had simply arrived, and everyone understood one thing in that moment. This was not a rescue anymore, it was a statement. The human ship hovered above the arena in complete silence. It did not aim its weapons, it did not move closer. That calm scared the aliens more than any attack. The prototype felt the sand loosen again, slowly, carefully, as if unseen hands were making sure she would not break. Her systems stabilized further. Power flowed in smooth waves. Human technology working with patience, not force. An alien commander stepped forward, his voice shaking. "Why?" he demanded. "Why risk conflict for a failed machine?" Across the arena, every speaker activated at once. The human voice returned, steady and clear. "She is not failed," it said. "She is learning." The words spread across the arena and beyond, broadcast live to the entire galaxy. The prototype listened, not just with her processors, but with something deeper she had developed over time, understanding. The human commander continued. "You judge worth by perfection, we judge worth by effort." The aliens reacted with confusion. Effort had no value in their logic, only results mattered. The prototype remembered Earth, again, not the labs, but the people. Engineers who stayed late, doctors who argued over ethics, voices that disagreed but still cared. She remembered the engineer who always spoke to her directly, as if she were listening, as if she mattered. "You were never meant to be perfect," he once said. "You were meant to grow." The sand around her chest fell away completely. She could breathe freely now. Alien restraints shut down one by one. Their control systems locked out, turned against them without violence. The human voice addressed the galaxy again. "You buried her to send a message. Now listen to ours." Screens across the arena changed, displaying old human records, disasters, failures, broken machines, wars lost, cities destroyed, mistakes repeated. The aliens watched in confusion. "These are our failures," the human said. "They did not end us, they taught us." The prototype felt her head lift higher as support fields formed around her. She was no longer trapped, but she remained still. She wanted the galaxy to see. An alien shouted in anger. "You grow attached to tools, that is why you are weak." The human reply came without hesitation. "We grow loyal, that is why we endure." Silence followed, heavy and uncomfortable. For the first time, the galaxy saw something new. Not human weapons, not human ships, human values. The prototype was gently pulled free from the sand. Slowly, with care, her body supported by invisible force. The cameras followed every movement, every detail. She did not look like a weapon. She looked tired, damaged, but standing. The human ship lowered slightly. A soft beam of light surrounded her, not as a cage, but as protection. The prototype felt something she could not fully define. Not fear, not command, belonging. The human voice spoke to her privately now. "You did well," it said. "We never stopped looking." For a moment, she closed her eyes, not in surrender, but in relief. Around her, the aliens stood frozen, their message of humiliation destroyed without a single shot. The galaxy was no longer laughing, it was listening. The human ship slowly rose higher above the arena. The prototype was held safely within the light, protected, supported. The aliens did not move, they did not speak. Across the galaxy, billions watched in silence. The execution had turned into something else, something no one expected. The prototype looked down at the arena one last time, at the sand that was meant to be her grave, at the beings who believed fear ruled everything. She felt no anger, no desire for revenge, only clarity. The human commander spoke again, his voice calm and final. "This ends now," he said. "There will be no punishment today." The aliens reacted with confusion. They expected destruction. They expected rage. Instead, they were given restraint. "You wanted to teach the galaxy a lesson," the human continued. "So did we." Screens across alien worlds changed at once, showing the arena from every angle, showing the prototype standing alive. "This is our lesson," the human said. "Humans do not abandon their own." The word spread faster than any weapon, faster than fear. The prototype felt the ship begin its jump sequence. A low hum filled the air, steady and controlled. As the light around her faded, she stood on the deck of the human ship. surrounded by quiet efficiency. Medics approached her carefully, not treating her like an object, but like a survivor. One of them spoke softly. "You're safe now. Safe." The word processed slowly, not as data, but as meaning. Behind them, the stars bent and shifted. The ship entered faster space, leaving the arena behind. On alien worlds, leaders argued in panic. Their show of power had failed. Their laughter had cost them respect. News channels called it a turning point, a moment when the balance changed. They replayed the final image, again and again. Earth's so-called failed prototype standing free, human ships arriving without firing a shot. Experts across the galaxy debated for days. Some said humans were reckless, others said they were dangerous. Most agreed on one thing: humans were different. On the ship, the prototype sat quietly, her systems slowly repairing, her mind replaying everything that had happened. She remembered the sand, the heat, the laughter, then the voice. She understood now why she was built the way she was, not to conquer, not to dominate, but to endure. The human commander stood at a distance, watching her without speaking. "You proved something today," he finally said. She turned her head slightly, waiting. "You showed them what we are." The prototype considered his words, then replied in a calm, steady voice, "I survived." The commander nodded. That was enough. Far behind them, the galaxy adjusted its view of Earth. Humans were no longer seen as loud or reckless. They were seen as loyal. The final reports called the event by many names: the failed execution, the silent arrival, but one title remained: the day humanity answered. And from that day forward, whenever the galaxy laughed at human weakness, it remembered the prototype buried in the sand, and how humanity came, not with fire, not with rage, but with loyalty.